I want, I want to live, I want to live on a airplane or a motorhome. It'd be cool if I had a plane, but I don't know if I can get there soon. That's all I want. I want love and maybe a little bit of success, and just to keep digesting life and putting music out to other people to listen to. That's all based on personal experiences, and that's all I really want. I'm sure I could think of many other things that I want, but I don't want this interview to get boring.
The dreams turn cold in the winter time. The wind blew hard. We lost all night. Round in amongst of the dead end blue. Walked along the bleak street.
No, I'm kidding. Boise music scene is
Pretty cool right now.
Is I wouldn't say underrated, but more of like a well-kept secret.
For Boise being such a small place relatively, the amount of talent that is here it's ridiculous.
there's great music in Boise. There's great musicians. I know a lot of great musicians in Boise.
We don't need people from Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, Salt Lake City, New York. We have talents here that are world-class talents. That's what really got me involved early on in the music scene, was that I recognized that. And I wanted to get to know these musicians.
Gotcha.
You've been looking for a chance to take. Looking at me, but you hesitate. Not your first choice for a candidate. Got a ready with a label and it won't be late. That's what you get with me. That's what you get with me. A little bit more than you bargained for, with a written guarantee. That's what you get with me.
The music scene of Boise.
The Boise music scene.
So,
How would I describe the music scene of Boise?
You can go first. Mostly amazing, very supportive in many ways. There are opportunities, places to play, gigs to be had. There are organizations here that will help you share your music.
20 years ago, you would hear maybe 4 or 5 bands. Now you can hear anything, anywhere, on any block.
All different kinds of music, from Afro funk to bluegrass, to straight up rock and roll, classic rock, or you can find more punk. You can find thrash, metal, the shredder. There's a lot of diversity.
I think the Boise music scene is very vibrant at this time. There's a lot of venues for people to see, indoors and outdoors, family shows, all kinds of variety of music.
It's challenging. It seems like a lot of the bars and places around here are kind of looking for DJs a lot more than live performers, but there are still quite a few bars that see the importance in that.
Unfortunately, there's not enough venues that have live music all the time. DJs are not live music, and it's kind of replaced the bands in this town, I think, a little bit. The DJs have.
I do see a lot of people that are very comfortable staying here and they don't want to leave, which is, I suppose that's a really good thing for Boise, but I've always seen myself as a person who lives here but doesn't necessarily want to make their living playing music here. I'd like to play all over the world, really, and I like coming back to Boise, though. When I'm here, I feel comfortable, I feel relaxed, there's not a lot of traffic. Even when it's really hot, there's things to do outside. You can ride your bike anywhere. I can pretty much walk anywhere I need to go. So it's a very good environment for not having a lot of stress on your shoulders. Like, I got to come up with $1,800 in rent so I can live in my 7-story, 1-bedroom apartment like some cities, you know. And here it's more laid back. You don't have to work as hard, but you can.
What I've heard from other musicians is that Boise is not necessarily a place that you are going to make a living doing music. It's something that you're going to have to do because you love it and you're passionate about it.
We have it pretty good here. We don't have it like I've heard in San Francisco. Sometimes you have to pay to play. I've heard the same for Nashville. We're very lucky to have enough gigs for everybody here.
Sometimes it's a little small for my taste. Sometimes some bands have similar people in them a lot. So there is danger sometimes of bands sounding similar. It's not good for diversity. We need different sounds to have healthy scene.
Well, we're gonna make something work that won't. We both know that the slap of luckily don't exactly give you much time. We don't see in your future, and I don't see you in mine. You're looking heavy on something now, but I'm just a little too far behind. Everything you got, it's losing everything you have. One time I would bet it all, we'd be together forever. But damn, girl, I never think much of the better man. Yeah, better man.
I've always found or always felt that in this part of the world, wherever we are, beyond the Midwest, in the interior somewhere, there's not a very well cultivated culture around appreciating live music like there is in other countries, perhaps. I don't know, some European countries I can think of, or even on bigger cities. People just have a little bit more easy time, like say walking in and paying $5 for something that's really great and right in your face, or up close anyway. But so I think that's a big part of having a good scene. But then, when you're in a bigger city, there's lots more influences.
Boise is a great town to come to as far as music. It's been awesome, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the future. I'll be here as long as I can, and I want to go check out some other places too. But Boise's always been good to me, and I'll definitely come back.
And I hope that businesses and people of the community continue to support it, because without that, we don't have jobs. So without a job, I'm going to have to go. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't play music, but I'd figure something out. But I'm just happy that Boise gives us jobs and keeps us busy. So that's where the scene starts.
I never get bored here too as a music listener. Sometimes when I'm in bigger cities, there's almost too many options, and here there's just enough interesting stuff coming through town that I never really get bored, and I also don't feel like I'm going out all the time.
I think it's vibrant. I think it's bustling. I've experienced it for a little over 20, 25 years, and it's come a long way in that period of time. It's grown, it's continuing to grow. The talent is it's incredible, it's great. The songwriting is awesome, it's different, it's new.
Several years, there's been several things that have helped coalesce the music scene. One of those things has been a free radio. Boise radio has been amazing in that we're hearing things that we wouldn't hear, whether or not we like it or not. So I think that's terribly important. I think there's been some great promoters, and Tree Fort Music Fest and Duck Club that's doing the promotion behind that and bringing some new bands in and making it a destination.
Most of the artists here want to make it a scene where original live music is supported, and where people can get together and play and have an audience.
We used to be a place where people avoid, we were just a drive-through, on the way to Salt Lake or on the way to Portland. Now people look to come here. So the music scene, kind of on a national level, I think, is doing fantastically.
I feel like that we're really close. I'm so close with a lot of musicians that we try to do as much as we can together and try to mix our projects together, so we play with each other a lot.
I think we're all just one big group of friends, and it's a lot of people, and I'm finding new people every day that I didn't even know we're playing music here, and they're all so talented, but there's a real sense of community. And
all of the friends I have personally made in Boise, they're all from the open mics, every single one of them. It's a very personal music scene. I think that's it's more for us than it is for the listeners.
It's much more of a collaborative and supportive spirit rather than a competitive spirit.
And the fans, they seem to be very supportive of live music here.
Boise has its own vibe. There's a couple different pockets of styles that are out there, but Boise itself, I really think, has its own vibe. Kind of like Seattle did, kind of like Nashville does, kind of like Austin does. There's definitely a Boise sound. I can't put a finger on what it is, or what it's going to be, but I think it's pretty special. I think the community here is really open to the possibility of having a really neat, having music be a featured aspect of this town and its culture. So I think there's only up to go.
I think people here feel a little more free to kind of express themselves, and you have a lot of diversity in the music, and that's what I really like about it.
I think we do a pretty good job here. I know it's small, but I think we do a good job.
For live music, I think that it's a nice pace here.
Sometimes I wish we had a union, musicians union, band together, strong, more money, better pay, rules, maybe healthcare, powerful, strong group together, but it's almost impossible to get musicians to agree on any one thing. But I would like to do it just to get more stability and support for musicians. And there are some things like that in the works. We'll see how they develop.
Last night we had a party with some mellow chicks out the chimney down the street just to get some kicks. We sat down at a table. The couple was a deuce, and we blown in the moon. Bring us all some juice. We started blushing, those chicks got hot, but they wasn't high enough. We whispered some words in their ears. Those chicks got love, awful stuff. So let this be a lesson. Let us stop and think before you whisper in her ear. Bring another drink.
Round 4 is a song from the Nat King Cole Trio. When I moved back to town, actually in 2002, these fellas had this band going already. John Namath and Andrew Cortens and Cody Ramey and Tom Moore had gotten together and pretty much fleshed it out, white jackets and all. And they started playing just only the Nat King Cole Trio music, which I actually was unfamiliar with when I got back to town, but that was a great thing for me because I sort of forced my way into the band until John left town. We were sort of the Frim Fram 4 plus one more until he eventually left. So.
We saw the resolutions from high. It wasn't high enough. Those believers were upwards in their ear. Just got rough, awful stuff. So let this be a lesson. Better stop and think. For you whisper in her ear. Bring another drink.
Jive is an important ingredient in the Frim Fram 4. Other music that we really like a lot is the Louis Jordan. We started kind of branching out then after doing lots of Nat King Cole stuff. We ended up doing lots of Louis Jordan. Jump blues kind of stuff and some Sinatra and all that Rat Packy stuff. So, like I say, Django and old swing stuff. And Andrew's a great stride piano player too, so we can go way back to the 20s or even up into the middle 60s with that band and feel pretty comfortable with all that music.
It's a dark day and it's over. Seems like it's over and over. Dark days are never over. There's a long way to the future. No way that shouldn't be so. Long way to the future. I'm gonna feel my way. It's gonna rain around you. It's gonna
What are my songs about? What specific themes do they cover?
Okay, what are my songs about?
Songwriting is like free therapy. It's just a chance to let it out, just get rid of it.
There are things that I've either wanted or that my life has essentially led me into.
I've been writing songs for over 20 years now. It's changed a lot. Yeah, I was young. I wrote about sort of complaining about, I would complain about conformity and sort of being yourself, and being okay to be weird and that kind of thing.
As I get older, my impulses are more just trying to write interesting things that haven't been written before. Or not. I mean, maybe everything's been written already, but just trying to come up with new angles on things and my personal views.
Well, they say write what you know, and I think, emotions really tie into it. So sometimes I write about heartbreak, or, something strikes me in the day, or I'll write about my family, and mainly about heartbreak. I have a lot of that. I like to write about the boys.
There's a butthole and you can find it. Deep in love town, and that's when the sun comes shining. It's got me so bright. There are workers with under roads and nowhere that you can go when that thunder's gonna roll in. It's gonna
I try to write things from a personal experience, but also have them, be universal. Hopefully, other people can connect to them and relate to them too. I have love songs. I have breakup songs. I have a song about my stomach growling. So it's a wide variety. I like funny songs. I don't like to always have funny songs, but I have some funny songs like Pluto, You'll Always Be a Planet to Me comes to mind.
Some of the early pop songs that I heard almost all dealt with relationships, with love, or with falling in love, falling out of love, complications with that, or I think that's something that really drew me to some of those songs, and I definitely write my own songs in that style.
I write a lot about landscapes. Landscapes really influence, metaphorically really influence how I write.
Lately, I write the blues-themed songs, meaning either songs of love or songs of breakup, and those are, they're universal. Everyone can identify with them. So there's something about that's always going to work, and always has worked. So.
Just pass across behind it, get closer to the ground after the storm is through. Seems like the sky is crying, the clouds are gone flying. There's a chance you could be smiling. That's what it all is.
I write a lot about water.
Emotions, I guess. Emotions.
For some reason, water is a theme, and mountains are a theme that I tend to use metaphorically.
Sometimes I get serious, but I don't like to get too serious all the time. So I guess that's what you could say.
I write a lot about relationships and the effects of relationships, what we do, how we think. Specifically familial relationships.
But what else?
I think, like falling in love, things like that are always really powerful for songwriting. And the traveling is good.
I have songs about, how would I describe it? How people in public will tell you that everything's fine even though it's not, because they don't want to be too honest. So stuff like that.
It's got a lot of songs about places, people in those places, stories, just telling other people's stories to a catchy beat. I love Dave.
I don't have many folk songs that tell a whole long story. I'm a little more brief and focus more on emotions than on actually telling a story, I guess you could say.
When we started this band, it was just totally for fun, to blow off steam and have fun. We start jamming, and we have never sat down to write lyrics ahead of a song. We start a jam and we start throwing out lyrics as we play.
Some of the songs I've written have been about Idaho and the mountains and Boise.
I write music usually about events that have happened in my life, maybe emotional events, relationships, just my thoughts and feelings about the world in general.
My stuff, on the other hand, is things that I want in life, or things that I want to be, or parts of me that I'm afraid to be in my real life that I can be on stage. I can be a different character. So they tend to be a little darker. They tend to be more about passions and sin and things I would not allow myself to do in normal life. I get to be that person on stage, which is freeing and liberating. Yeah.
Also about relationships and good and bad sides of relationships, like a lot of songs. I mean, I'm really influenced by country music and folk music, so that's a lot of the themes that you find in those styles of music.
Daylight flying through my window. The sun has started its race again, but I don't have the strength to crawl out of bed and face the world. Death sings, oh so fine, oh, those of us who've never seen that other side. But I know that every ending, it's a beginning. There's no need to fear. And I feel her with me, her spirit is with me. I feel her with me, oh, nah, nah.
We've got an album, one of the songs on there is called Daylight, and that song is about my daughter Rowan, who died when she was 3.5 years old. She died of SIDS. And that song is about that experience, and it's about overcoming grief and dealing with grief. And the chorus of that song talks about facing your grief head on and diving into it. There was a book that I was reading at the time that my wife was reading, and I can't remember the name of it exactly, but the author had this analogy of you can either always run from your grief and you're constantly going to be running from it, or you can turn around and face it head on and learn to deal with it. And he made it, the analogy was you can either run from night, you can run from the darkness, or you can turn around and you can dive right into the darkness, because that's the fastest way, that's the quickest way that you're going to be able to see the sunrise and see the light again and learn how to deal with what, with what's going on. So that's what that song is about. And I generally, I write a lot about personal experiences and relationships.
Been a place or two, yeah, but not too far from home. I don't know a lot about much, yeah, just what I've been told. Stakes and chances to make them taking places to see and go. If you don't take chances and make mistakes, well, you never know. Man standing on the corner, standing in a puddle of remorse and regret. Married into someone else's dreams, his dreams he was forced to forget. Well, it could have been different, maybe if he would have stood up and stuck to his guns. Might be on the road somewhere, raising hell and having fun. Take a shot, whether for dreams or whether for love. What kind of person can you be accused of being of? Right or wrong, yeah, wrong or right. Yourself's the only one who knows what keeps you up at night. Yeah, what keeps you up at night. The country music that the people that we listen to and we really love are the people that are kind of, they're kind of on the underground side of country music. Some of the stuff you hear, on the radio, we really don't consider to be, country music as far as what we love. It's become, kind of a pop music culture, I guess, as far as, all music is turning that way, really. But the people that we really respect are the people that are holding on to that old older, the old sound and the grit and the real lyrics that really hit you. A lot of the lyrics today on the radio, I can't listen to it for very long, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's just, it's all about one thing, and it's something that I really don't care about. So, but there's a lot of artists out there that are doing it today that, they might not be. They might not be on the radio, but they have a great fan base and they're making a living doing what they want, and that's where I want to be. I want to have a good career and even a family, if that's possible. And I don't really, to tell you the truth, I don't really want to be on the country radio. I would like to have our own thing going on and trying to hold on to some of the older traditions in country music.
Been a place or two, yeah, but not too far from home. I don't know a lot about much, just I've been told. Sticks and chances to make and take, places to see and go. If you don't take chances and make mistakes, well, you never know.
I don't know what country music will become, but I hope it starts to kind of put itself in reverse and go back to where it used to be. So, but that's just art, that's art.
Slow down, take it easy. You ain't going nowhere. What's the hurry? What's the worry? You're already there. Relax, take it easy. Do you feel this magic in the air?
The Songwriters Association was originated by a fellow by the name of Steve Eaton. What he wanted to do originally was to get people together just informally to share their songs. So that happened 5 years ago. We all got together at a place in Eagle, Idaho called the Blue Moose Cafe, and we probably had about 12 people that first night. So that was really the origin. Was just the idea of getting together once a month with fellow songwriters and sharing their original material.
Make me fall in love with you. For everything I know is true about you. Beautiful, what I know inside.
I appreciate the Songwriters Association because they reach out into the community and invite anyone who's a songwriter to come up and play and to get involved and to meet the people.
The goals of the Songwriters Association are to promote and encourage songwriting in Idaho. So we promote songwriting by trying to create opportunities for musicians to perform.
I think it's a really safe place. I think it's a safe place to take new material and test it out on people. And like Ryan said, you really learn a lot from the ideas and the different concepts and different styles of other songwriters that you can bring to your own work, but while feeling safe in doing so.
Never searching, ever looking for the truth we knew we could not find here. And everywhere we turn, it's just the same. Our paths lead to empty lies we've searched. Don't close close your eyes, it's just ahead. Don't close your mind, it's just beyond the sky. If we can't just make it through, we'll see. You've got to find a turn back now. But music keeps the world alive.
I go to that forum once a month, and it's a great place to connect with others, meet other songwriters, share your songs, and to see how people really connect with the music.
You know, there are people, lots of people as a matter of fact, that can't go out and play gigs. They don't have time for it, perhaps. They've got careers or they've got family and they just don't have time. But maybe they have played their instrument for years and are very good at what they do. And if they're writing songs, the Songwriters Association gives them an avenue.
I think that what musicians really want, the way they want to be appreciated, is to have people actually listening to what they do.
Well, I loved you from the moment that you walked across the floor, headed on a mission as you headed for the door. I broke with my traditions, introduced myself to you, where I would be later sold like something you should do. Story of the truth that lies behind the hers and his. I wish that you was no good, but the truth in fact you is. The truth in fact you is. There really ain't no slow with me, I finally learned. I fall in love so far, so fast, and never quite return. I love the music that we made, sounds, string and skin. I never did appreciate the way you let me in. All the story of the truth that lies behind my ears. I wish that you was no good, but the truth in fact you is. The truth in fact you is. There really ain't no slow with me, I finally learned. I wish that you was no good, we're no good, but the truth in fact you
I'm a fretless guitar player, and for years I played an ebony fingerboard, and I kept wearing out the fingerboards because I played so much. So I invented the glass fingerboard, which uses mirrored glass on the guitar, and it's really strong.
You're my nightmare and a dream come true, because you're not there when I reach for you. Love in the kitchen, up against the post, blinding mansion, let me be your scope. All dreams, see what I mean? I'm believing that I'm up all night. I believe in you. All dream, but Lily was a dreaming. I was dreaming in the dead at night when I wrote to you. I spoke to you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right now.
It's a very difficult guitar to play. It's very demanding, but it's also really fun. It's addicting, like golf.
skills.
What skills are most important for a musician?
Wow.
Creativity. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I think being able to, you know, there's musicians that just play on their own independently as solo artists, however you want to put it, on the piano or on the guitar, and they do very, very well with that, and they don't do very well with others. So I would say, you know, as far as tools go, learning how or being able to, possessing the ability to play with other people. And it's work. There's a lot of effort. There's a lot of personality clashes, but it's very rewarding when you can find your way through it and get to the other end with something that you're both really, really after. So,
as a bass player, I think proper technique is extremely important.
I would say the most important skill in being a musician is having a good ear, a sense of tempo and a sense of tonality and energy. Those three things, for sure.
As far as actually playing music, I think rhythm is by far the most important thing.
I'm not the best guitar player around, I'm not the best singer around, but you know, if you can engage the audience and keep them, you know, interested in what you're doing and have a good personality on stage, that really goes a long way.
The song of the rain, working hard to bleeding hands, taking home some lessons in the sand, working so
their technical skill, how well they play their instrument, and everything, and which is very much part of a very important part of it. But in my opinion, it's how they perform and their stage presence that really drives it home and gets people excited about seeing an artist perform live again.
You know, you have to have inspiration. I think that's the main skill. If you can learn that skill, how to use inspiration and let it grow. Because uninspired people do uninspired things. If you're a musician, you can't do that. It just does not work.
And how well they connect, you know, and because that's what life is all about, is, you know, when you feel that connection, that pull on your heartstrings, you know, like, oh, we have a similar passion or taste or preferences, and, you know.
Could be different for different musicians, but some important skills would be perseverance, so keep working, creativity, be flexible in how you go about a thing.
There was a girl in my town that turned all the boys' heads around. They all knew by her given name, but I knew her as Mary Jane. She had gunmetal eyes that stood 6 feet tall. All the girls I knew, I forgot them all. After one slow dance at the county fair, they kissed her for the first time there. Oh, my beloved Mary Jane, hold me close and whisper my name. Never been in love before, and I have no need to fall again. Mary Jane.
You need some survival skills. I mean, there's musicians who devote their whole life to it completely, and they go on the road all the time and just keep on doing it on the road. And I've done that. I've been that guy who went on tour all the time. I experienced it, and you know, now I'm older and settled down, got family, and of course I've got lots of family. I've always had kids, you know, but it's not any good. I can't get guys my own age to go on the road because they've got lives and they have to survive. They've got jobs that are important to them, and families and new families and babies and the whole 9 yards.
You know, I think songwriting is the most important for a musician, because you can be an amazing guitar player, you know, you can just be the most killer guitar player in the world, but if you don't have a song to attach that guitar, you know, virtuosity to, then that solo kind of just gets forgotten as time goes by. But if it's a song, it's forever, and you get to play the song for eternity.
Oh, I wish it would rain, wash my face clean. I wanna find some dark cloud to hide in here. Oh, love in a memory sparkles like diamonds when the diamonds fall. Burn like tears when the diamonds fall. Burn like tears.
I think that skill, it's performing, feeling and being passionate about what you're doing is really important. But also not being afraid to fall, not being afraid to make mistakes and sound silly, because that's when you're really going to learn a lot about yourself. And I think that's the most important thing for a musician, is just not afraid to put themselves out there, because those are the ones who are really, truly going to be successful.
Be innovative, be creative. That way, you know, not only for other people who want to hear the music, as far as maintaining relevancy, but also with yourself as far as feeling like you're growing as a songwriter and not getting stagnant.
Although I really want them to do this, but it's not really for everybody. And so, but getting people to be able to just put down chords, lift them up, and put them down again is a great way for everybody to start playing music. So I don't know. I just answered that question terribly.
Yeah, you still have to be creative. You have to kind of reinvent yourself. Don't get stuck in a box. I like to write new.
Once I had a love in the Georgia pines who only cared for me. I wanna find that love of 22 here at 33. Got a heart on my right and one on my left, and neither suits my needs. You know the one I love, he's away out west, and he never will leave me.
To be expressive and to be entertaining and to engage the audience, and that's a tremendous challenge these days.
You got to be a people person if you want to be a musician. However, you don't have to be. You know, if you're that good, you can just play your instrument and go back to the trailer and, you know, let someone do the talking for you. But, you know, it always helps just to be friendly and be patient and, you know, be social.
Learning the lessons in school, you learn the technical side, but the real music comes from just doing it and being with the musicians all the time. I think that's the most important thing, is just, if you want to do it, just do it and believe that you can.
The best skill is to never give up.
We could walk on a beach and swim and play. We could sit in the sand and hear the waves. We might lie in the meadow or gaze at the stars. I could hold you close and not let go.
Let's go to a place that we've never been. Nothing's holding us back. Let's just give in. I would know all your doubts. I'd tell you all of my fears.
I'd be there for you to catch you when you fall. Oh, jeez. To catch you when you fall. Oh, I'd be yours forever if you give me a chance.
Of course.
I'll be with you.
We have our lives
ahead. I'll spend it with you.
Hey, so we're Opera Elect. I'm Zachary Bucher.
And I'm Jordan Bowman.
And we are a new musical company based in Boise, Idaho.
We decided we would like to support local artists in their career development in the classical genres and making music super fun and super fresh for anyone who's not familiar with it.
We'd be together a while when you'd give me a ring. Oh, wedding there'd be, we would dance and sing.
We would go on a trip, maybe Spain.
Maybe France.
Well, the food there's good.
There'd be so much romance.
We'd adventure together, we would see the world.
There'd be no stopping us.
We'd be young and in love.
And we'll come back home when we're both together, together forever. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
What you can expect from Opera Elect is a creative performance.
It's a fun and accessible and engaging experience. We really love to talk to our audience members and joke around and have a good time with them.
We try to make the music super fun, super exciting, and very accessible to each audience member so that everyone can understand the storyline.
Not only keep true to the roots of classical music, but also show what classical music can do. So you're going to see just evolutions, like the evolution of art as it pertains to opera music and the classical repertoire.
So what I would say is our music is genuine, surprising, and storytelling.
I've been scared of dentists and the dark. I've been scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. All my friends are turning green. She's the magician's assistant in her dream. They come unstuck, lady, running down to the riptide, taking away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words.
That's the big question for if you want to play a lot. You'll get asked to play the famous song.
That's been an ongoing struggle, I think, for any musician in any town, but Boise very much loves to hear a cover band, but I feel very strongly that original music is being more and more and more encouraged and appreciated. People are putting on albums and people in Boise are buying them.
The most of the music I do my best to support are an artist's original music, and that's my personal preference. Is I want to hear their art and their heart and their soul.
Most musicians try to go to the middle, maybe play one cover per set or more. So I don't know. It's tricky. Depends on the environment.
Playing cover music is the quickest way to connect to the listener because they already know the song. Trying to introduce your own original music takes a little bit of time, So the best way to do that, if you play original music and you're fairly new, is to always mix in some cover music so that you connect with the audience, and then they hear your original music, and then after they hear you a couple of times, they start to, know your original music, which then becomes something familiar to them.
On a big stage where people buy a ticket, I will just play my songs. But if I'm playing at a restaurant or a coffee shop, I might play some covers that I think are interesting. Not Brown Eyed Girl, not Folsom Prison Blues, not Wagon Wheel, not Margaritaville. Not for me. Fine if other people want to play them. But to me, that is just jukebox. You could just play the jukebox.
So don't roll your eyes at your distant sky. Won't you feel your words flowing through your mind? It's all we've done, all I've tried to find. You see the wars we've won, how we fight for freedom. like every time I turn my head, I'm seeing red, we're gonna redefine and draw the line, I'm too blind to see, we're gonna turn it back around and drive by on the left. Oh, we're gonna redefine and draw the line, I'm too blind to see, we're gonna turn it back around and drive by on the left. I'm on your bended knee.
There's two ways to answer that question. I think covers are important to the extent that you know when you're performing, it's not just about you and the guys you're playing with. It is about an audience, and it's important that that audience feels connected and a part of what it is that you're doing. And one of the ways to bring them in, to reel them into your performance, and is to play something that they are familiar with.
It's tricky, but I love so much music that by covering a song, I can share with you how strongly I feel about that song. So I think that covering a song is an honor to the artist and can be a real tribute to the songwriter. But I also want my songs to be well liked and thought of and heard. So the biggest honor is when someone come to the stage to you and ask for one of your songs. That's the biggest, coolest thing.
I try to keep it infrequent. I think it should be an important piece of the night, but not be the night. You know, it's about playing our music and sharing our music, and that should accent the night, the evening, playing a cover that grabs and keeps the crowd involved.
We all want to be known for our own songs the most.
Reggae music has a message. It's about truth and rights, and they say that you know any reggae song you're going to listen to is about truth and rights, and it's about telling the truth and being told the truth about your rights and knowing your rights and exercising your rights and thinking about your brother or your sister and thinking about feeling your brothers and your sisters and what they're going through and so, I mean, the world is getting kind of cold with everybody being separated by their devices and their electronics and all that business. People need to get together, and that's what reggae music to me is mostly about. Of course, you know, you've got lovers reggae and you got dance hall, and it's about partying and love and stuff, but you know, the type of music that I like is music that has a message about people and their souls and what they're going to do with each other and what we're going to do with the hatred and the killing and the greed. Capitalistic society, it obviously isn't working. As it's said in the songs, they blame the Rasta man. The natural man is not the one to blame. The one that has to have everything and is separating himself or herself from the earth and from the rest of us. That's what's wrong, and that's what reggae music to me is about. It's what my music's about. Try to anyway.
Put on my blue suede shoes and boarded the train. I touched down in the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain. Oh, WC Handy, won't you look down over me? I got me a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I was walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet out of here, walking in Memphis. Do you really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis walking down Union Avenue. Followed him up to the gates of Graceland, and then I watched him strut right through. Wall now security, they did not notice. They just hover around as a tomb. There's a pretty little town waiting for the king down in the jungle room. And I was walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet out of the field. Walking in Memphis. Do you really feel the way I feel? Walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet up a Beale Street, walking in Memphis. Do you really feel the way I feel?
Hi, my name is Seth Brown, and my business is To Entertain You. Creating community connectivity through live music, arts, and entertainment is the mission of my company. It's all about people coming together and celebrating life.
Down to Parliament, from back on time. We are the one who's always hurting. The sun is shining, control the curtains. No hurting, being the star. Get right down to Parliament, from back on time. There's no grass, somebody's cleaner, and someone else to shine. Yeah, and the world is so much bigger when your heart is hard.
One of the things that's also powerful for me is like an artist's ability to evoke emotion and incite change and create positive change. And lately I've been really researching artists that have a message in their music about positivity and about change, and that are bringing up things that are happening currently, like the importance of protecting the environment and such. And so Idaho Green Fest is one of the events that I produce. It's a Earth Day festival. My focus through that event is to not only show people a good time, but to help educate and bring awareness within them that that they can make a difference, that they can do something positive, and learn from each other and connect and grow. And that's what it's all about for me, is providing these opportunities for people to connect.
I can still hear you from the back of the room. I can still hear you from the back of the room. We got that thing. Don't let them tell you there's a break in your stride. Don't let them tell you there's a break in your stride. We got that thing.
Possibilities for a young musician?
A young musician? I don't know, dear. You should ask one.
Boise.
Well, that's a good question. I honestly, you know, I've only been singing in public for like the last 8 months, so I'm kind of new to the scene, to be honest.
There's tons of room for the younger musician here.
Coming from Boise, like, it's be really tough to get discovered from here.
There are a lot of performance arts schools that do encourage playing as often as possible in private recitals. And also in the music scene, open mics, there are some open mics that are all ages. And coffee shops are good places too. I remember growing up in high school, a lot of the kids going to the coffee shops.
Should have seen it coming. It's something I've known for too long. I never thought I could be feeling so right, but been so wrong. I should have seen it coming. I wake up at night and sleep all day, searching for the answer to make this pain go away. I'm so unsure, helpless and insecure. There's nowhere left to turn. Look away, and I said, hey, help me find my way. Hey, and I feel so lost today.
Younger musicians, man, it's always hard. I mentor a lot of young musicians.
And where I think there's more opportunities here than in bigger markets like Portland and Seattle right now. I think it's hard to find all sorts of little gigs throughout the week that maybe pay anything. And so it's a nice thing around here. I have lots of little live music opportunities.
And mostly what I tell them is just show up. Just come to shows and meet people and record your music and share it with people and support other musicians so that then they see you and they get to know you and then you become part of their group and then you're going to be on stage next,
So I'd say learn your set and get out there and start knocking on doors, kids.
Faith, do what you want to. Maybe I'm tired of believing, oh, I gotta let it go. Faith, it's gonna call on me. Test it to them and tell them that you're coming home.
So New Transit, finding a name for a band is pretty difficult. Or I guess for some people it could be obvious and easy, but for me it was maybe a little bit of both. I felt like you can't just play without a name, so eventually you have to throw something down to get booked. But it was a transitional time for me when I started, when I branched out and started playing this music with Adam Gates, who he and I had been in other bands together and played together a little bit prior, and then at some point we kind of broke off and started our own thing. Of course, Adam and I, we were looking for a drummer to fall behind us, and Louis McFarland grabbed our attention. First time we saw Louis, we were like, that's the dude. We need to find a way to get a hold of him and have him try it out at least. So we grabbed him, and as a three-piece, we started recording right off the bat versus playing out a bunch. So we were maybe a little bit backwards, but we had some songs and some ideas that we wanted to beat up, and the three of us went into our studio, our home studio, and started recording songs and feeling out what would end up being part of the new record eventually. And and Lewis ended up being the fit. I mean, fit like a glove. It was perfect. There was a lot of production aspects to that, so we were really searching for somebody who could lend to the feel of those songs at that time, and Dave Mannion was an obvious choice for a guy with a lot of versatility on guitar, pedal steel playing. And then we existed as a four-piece for the better part of a year with with friends sitting in from time to time here and there on keyboards or other instruments, guitars, guys that we held really dear, relationships that were strong, Thomas Paul and Bernie Riley, and a bunch of other. Eventually, the band evolved, times changed, situations tugged and pulled, and Adam ended up dropping out of the band and moving on to bigger and better things. We had a variety of people come in and out of the band for a couple of years, but Todd Sloan expressed some interest at one point in hanging out and playing in the band, and we needed a bass player. He was a good fit, and so he's been playing with us for the last, I think, 3-4 years now. Wow, the band's evolved so much in such a long stretch of time too. Bernie Riley joined the band, and Dave ended up dropping out and doing his own thing as well. So now, as it sits, and Thomas Paul, who was a friend of ours, in and out of the band quite a bit. We're pretty inclusive. We like the feeling of having a lot of personalities hanging around us that we enjoy. It's kind of about the hang, Music's important. We love to play. We love to record. But we also like to have fun. That's kind of what it's about. And why not do it with your best pals, right? So, and it's pretty awesome. They're all good guys. I love it.
I got slow, I can't slow down. Help, sweet Jesus, oh, can't let it go. But I'm caught, that ain't like me. And I'm tired of believing, oh, I gotta let it go. If you break, slide through my fingers on enough to call you gone. Hey, I wanna free you, but I'm tired of believing, oh, I gotta let it go.
6 years playing in the band together is it's like being married. It's like having brothers, siblings, and you're not always going to get along. It could be pretty brutal, but it's, man, what a there's times and moments that communication, all that sacrifice and acceptance and everything else that goes into performing with other people. Just being in a van for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days and 3 to 5 hours a day, and then packing in and out and performing on stage, and then going back to the hotel room and having to deal with each other then, and wake up with each other the next morning and do it all over again. Man, what a trip. But it's like being in a family. There's a lot of acceptance is big. Yeah.
Social media, well,
The social media,
that's what the kids do, right?
I think social media has just been taken off like a banshee. It's really changed the way that people can obtain music, the way that they can put their music out, the way they can reach out to their fans.
I do like it. And I like to see my friends or other bands in town play, and so I can always check in and see where people are playing, and so it's good for that.
People can go out and listen to music on social media that may not purchase an album like they used to. But yeah, social media has just been incredible. It's been fun to watch, and it's really interesting to see where it goes in the future.
It also gives you the chance to tell your story the way that you want it to be told to a degree. You can, on Instagram, you can post pictures of what you're doing and kind of from your viewpoint or your artistic vision of what you see on the road or in your local hometown or wherever you are, and you get to tell your own story of what your life is like and how you want your band or your music to be represented. And I think that's a really cool thing too.
Well, now the social media has completely changed. When I began singing here in Boise in '92, social media meant hanging flyers. It meant going around talking to people, telling them where you're going to be playing. And now social media means you just type a few sentences and say, here's where we're going to be, and you press enter, and hundreds and thousands of people know what's happening in your musical world. And that is astonishing.
There's a quiet and peaceful county in the state of Tennessee. You can't find it in the book that they call geography. It's not famous for its farming, its mining, or its stills, but they know there's chitlins a cooking in the Cheetah County hills. When a cheetah cooking down in Cheetah County, I'll be courting in the Cheetah County hills, and I'll pick a Cheetah County chitlin cooking right along and
Hokum High Flyers. It sounds like the name of an old-time string band that you would hear from the 1920s or 30s. A lot of those band titles were whimsical and humorous, lighthearted. And also the word hokum is usually associated with early blues, kind of jug band, ragtime. And hokum itself, I think hokum is etymologically related to the hokey pokey. And hokum sometimes means sort of code language, whimsical code language or euphemism for something naughty. And the High Flyers, we like to make people feel lighthearted, like they're flying. So maybe that's part of it too. We just like the sound of it, the Hokum High Flyers. Good alliteration, good rhythm to it.
Well, there's an art in chitlin cooking, and all good chitlin cooks, they must master it by practice, 'cause it ain't wrote down in the books. Well, in the hills of Cheatham County, in sunny Tennessee, when chitlins are in season, you know that's where I'm gonna be.
Our sound is, it's lively, it's whimsical, it's energetic, it's danceable. People like to dance to it, at least tap their foot, slap their knee, if not get up and move around. And it's also a sound that people feel like they can identify with. It's an old, traditionally old American sound that people feel like they recognize somehow.
Of all good things put before me, well, I think chitlins are the best. And when I press my dying pillow, will the chitlins be my last request? When it's Cheetah cooking time in Cheetah County, I'll be courting in the Cheetah County hills. I'll pick a Cheatham County chicken cooker. I belong in Mr. Chicken Stew. I'll be putting in the Cheatham County hills, and I'll pick a Cheatham County chicken cooker, where I belong in Mr. Chicken Stew. I belong in Mr. Chicken Stew. I belong in Mr. Chicken Stew.
Most of the music we play is traditional music, so it's music that we received and we're passing it on. So we don't write a lot of original songs so much as reinterpret songs that are being passed down. And it just feels good to play. There's something about it just feels good inside. It inspires me. It moves me somehow. And so I feel like that if I can reproduce it genuinely and honestly, passionately, then those who listen to it and are dancing to it maybe will also experience it that way.
My goals?
Oh, okay.
My goals right now.
Yeah.
That's a tough one just because I actually got a real job. So.
Well, I think like any other independent musician, songwriter, whatever, what I'd like to be doing, I mean, certainly just, making a living doing this.
My goals are to pretty much be able to do what I'm doing.
Probably the same place that it's been going, which is playing with people here in Boise. We get to play outside of Boise a little bit here and there.
Let your hair on down, I'm gonna show you how it's ended. See, there's no way, no fuss, no fight going on in this here crib. It's just you and me, and the devil makes three, so come on and let's live. 'Cause my house is your house tonight. And don't you worry your pretty little head tonight.
Ideally, that's what I'd be doing, waking up, having a cup of coffee, going out, writing something, shooting some more videos.
I also have been thinking that I want to finally do a solo album.
Continue to collaborate and create interesting art, and hopefully get paid for it. That's the idea, I think.
Music is my getaway. Music is such a beautiful thing, when you're on stage and you're creating this music, you just get so wrapped up in this, in this sound that you're making. So any night I can do that, I'm just on cloud 9, and I'm excited to either it's doing a solo gig for 4 people at a bar at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, or playing a big show on a Friday or Saturday night. I just want to do more of that and create more music and build bridges and connect with more musicians.
So the one thing I really haven't done yet that I want to do with my music is make a recording of my songs, just be able to share that with people.
That's my only really goal, is to focus on smaller projects in the future and not wait for years and years at a time to put a new album out. Just like maybe every couple months could have a new song out and just kind of see how that goes for a while.
Thoughts that can be troublesome out of my head before I form them. I've learned to go without them. Now that you're gone, I've always wanted my footprint. I don't have that great stride. Always wanted my footprint. Real reason to have pride.
Keep growing and learning as a musician. It's a lifelong thing. It never stops. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I guess my goals are to do the same thing I've been doing pretty much. That doesn't sound very ambitious, I suppose, but it feels good for me. And I feel very lucky to be playing with the people that I play with. They inspire me, and as long as they keep inspiring me, then I'm going to want to keep playing with them.
I'd like to continue to travel and continue to write. And I'm kind of happy where I am, so just kind of maintaining a lot of my current situation.
You have to find the next thing and that pulls you along, that inspires you, and that right now I think is still inspiring me. I want to make the songs that I'm writing be that much more connective and powerful, and I'm having so much fun collaborating with other artists.
Another goal of mine is to be better. And that sounds a little lame, but I think my main goal is to be able to do what I've been doing because I really enjoy it. So that seems kind of sad.
Via request.
One of the things I love about Boise is that I feel like I'm doing what I want to be doing. It's not about, okay, we're doing this today, but what are we going to do tomorrow? It's like, no, today is important. I want to be happy what I'm doing today. And right now I am. And that's a great thing for me, at least.
But yeah, I mean, Boise is a good place. Good place to start playing music, and it's a great music community.
I'm proud to be part of the Boise music scene.
The only thing that limits Boise is its geography.
Boise, good place to play.
So I feel lucky to be here
and be part of that community.
So, thank you, Boise.
Living with the storm cold look in your eyes. I never say goodbyes, waiting on a diamond ring. You're too old to party, too young to pawn. All of your emotions are painted on the tops of your sleeves. It's easy giving up when you're giving in. Sometimes you're better off just counting your cards again. It's easier giving up when you're giving Well, she's got the money and I've got the time. Never gonna change style. It's a testament to honesty. I've come a long, long way in my life. You can see it in my eyes. I'm a different kind of breed. It's easy giving up when you give in. But sometimes you're better off just counting the cards again. It's easy giving up when you give in. It's the way I look, how I called you home, my discography. But baby, I'm feeling down. Would you tell me how you kept up with me? It's easy giving up when you're giving in. Sometimes you're better off just counting the cards again. It's easy giving up when you give it in. Living with the stone cold look in your eyes. I never say goodbyes away